Today we're going to make biochar with these two giant cans. So the way it's going to work is we're going to put a bunch of holes on the bottom of this can, and then on this can we're going to cut out the bottom, and then we're going to put secondary air holes along here on a diagonal pattern. So you have your primary air going through here, and then you're going to have your secondary air right here. Alright, so you want to take that off for me? I think I'm going to use this one as the bottom. Yeah! Alright, so now we're going to poke holes into the bottom of this for the primary air supply. So, according to greaterdemocracy.org, you want to set it up into triads with 7/64 inch holes. If you want to do that, you can. Instead, I'm just going to use this small screwdriver and hit it with this hammer and get a hole, and then I'm going to make it the width of this screwdriver. And then, to me, that's good enough. So we're going to make a bunch of those. It's always better to start out with too few and be able to add something to start with too many. So don't be afraid to be a little shy. So now that we've got all these holes, we're going to start putting the holes for the secondary air in diagonal patterns.
We're trying to do the same method with the hammer and the screwdriver as we did here with these holes, but it's much harder because of the integrity of the can. So we've switched to using a drill with a bit that's about the same size as the screwdriver we use to make these holes. It's still a little bit hard, but it's much easier.
We reinforced the structural integrity with this so that you can put pressure down on it and it won't just get. Alright, so we have put the holes in it. So now it's time to move on to whatever material we're going to use for this. And in our case, we're going to use wood pellets. You can use any kind of organic matter. So people use things from all the way from silphium stems and tree branches to chicken manure. So it's pretty versatile. Anything that's organic you can use for biochar. So for our case, we're going to use some wood pellets. So we're going to fill this up about 2/3 of the way. Can you? Ah! I know, but I got it. This is all good. Otherwise, this should. Alright. The larger versions, the double barrel retorts, you use some kind of kindling to get the fire started, but since this is a smaller version, we're going to use some alcohol. Idealistically, you want to get 90 or 93% alcohol, but I only have 70, so that's what I'm going to use. So, I have this container right here, where I'm going to have about 1/4 inch of this. I'm going to have about 1/4 inch of the top layer nice and coated in some alcohol. So I'm just going to pour it on in. So before we put the alcohol chips onto here, it is important to note that if you pack this down, it won't run properly. So it's important that you have it nice and airy. Because the whole idea of biochar is you have this primary air down here, and then the secondary air right over there. And then so you're getting this airflow.
We need a platform to keep this on so that the airflow can come up through the bottom of this can. And we couldn't really find anything, so we ended up just putting 3 screws, and this time we did a triad so that you would have maximum support. Yeah, so you can see it stands up nicely, you have plenty of room for the air to come through.
So we had applied the alcohol, and so now what we're going to do is put it on fire with our handy dandy lighter. Alright, so it's going.
Yeah, you can see the flames in that.
Alright, so now... So as you can see, there's no black smoke coming out of here because the primary air is coming in, and it is joining with the secondary air, which is all these holes, and it's creating this smokeless fire in a process called pyrolysis.
So this is only about a minute after we stopped our last video, and you can see how high these flames are and how hot these metal cans are too. So, do you want to explain what you would use the char for?
Sure. So, the use of biochar not only is for carbon sequestration, because you're putting this carbon into a very stabilized form of charcoal, but it's what I like to call a nutrient sponge. So what happens is all of the gases and everything except for the carbon leaves the organic matter that we're using as a fuel. And so what happens is there's all these little pores of where the gases and other molecules were. So as this goes into the ground, the nutrients like potassium and ammonium will stick into the pores, and then through microbes and mycorrhizal fungi, the roots of plants can access this nutrient sponge, and it'll cause them to grow a lot better. So it's been used in agricultural instances. Alright, so we are using the heat generated from our biochar to make some eggs. Alright, we are about to enjoy a carbon negative meal. We are done, and so this is the final product. What happens is some of the carbon isn't exactly healthy to inhale, so what the good idea is to get a bucket, fill with some water, and then just dump the contents into the bucket. That's hot. So this is what it originally looked like, and this is the charred version. This still has the same structure because it retains the carbon, so it doesn't turn to ash, and that's what makes it biochar, because it doesn't turn to ash, and all the carbon stays right there. And if you look, it's charred all the way through. See that? Perfect char. All right.
We're so down about it. How about some credit now? Credit